ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today on Psychos and Sociopaths, we're going to go over O.J. Simpson. Basically, the juice. We're going to go a little bit into his NFL career because, this show is for more. These episodes are going to be for the NFL. But we're going to go in a little bit. Sorry. I had to move the mic a little bit closer. But we are going in with the NFL teams. We might do this again next year just for like the last couple of weeks for the Super Bowl, just to coordinate our episodes for like Psychosociopaths and Nerd Sports. I know I haven't really done any What the Hell episode, but we're rebranding a little bit, maybe bringing back a couple of taking down one of the episodes. We might do a couple of them every once in a while, but it's a time frame, basically my time frame, because I'm doing the What the Hell episodes and interviewing people, and my time frame right now is not really good. Once we get everything figured out, we will probably bring it back, but until then, we're just going to do 2. So let's begin. O.J. Simpson was born and raised in San Francisco, California, son of Eudes, a hospital administrator, and Jimmy Lee Simpson, a chef and baking consultant. His father was a well-known drag queen in the San Francisco Bay Area. Later in life, Jimmy Simpson announced that he was gay and died of AIDS in 1986. Simpson's maternal grandparents were from Louisiana, and his aunt gave him the name Orthel, which she said was the name of a French actor she liked. He was called OJ from birth and did not know that Orthel was his given name until a teacher read it in the 3rd grade. Simpson has one brother, Marvin Leon Truman Simpson, and one living sister, Shirley Simpson Baker, and one deceased sister, Carmela Simpson Dorello. I think it's Dorello.
Dario.
Oh, Dario. As a child, Simpson developed rickets and wore braces on his legs until he was age 5, giving him his bow-leg stance. His parents separated in 1952, and Simpson was raised by his mother. Simpson grew up in San Francisco and lived with his family in the housing projects in Potrero Hill neighborhood. In his early teenage year, he joined a street gang called the Persian Warriors and was briefly incarcerated in San Francisco Youth Guidance Center. Future wife Marguerite, his childhood sweetheart, described Simpson as a really an awful person. Then, after his 3rd arrest, a meeting with Willie Mays, during which the baseball star encouraged Simpson to avoid trouble, helping persuade him to reform. At Gallows, is it Gallo? Gallio. I'm thinking Gallio.
Galileo.
Galileo High School. Currently the Galileo words bad. Galileo Academy of Science and Technology. See, I had to do it in my special voice. In San Francisco, Simpson played for school football team. Sorry. Allergies mixed in with this weather that we're having down in Texas that's really cold. I apologize for everybody. And I wanted to do this episode no matter what. So I'm pushing through. In San Francisco, Simpson played a school football team in the Galileo Lions. He graduated in 1965. Now, I'm gonna skip out a lot of stuff. It's just showing that he was actually, even though he had rickets as a kid, and he pretty much had to have uh, braces on his legs for a while, he ended up being a good running back and defensive back. All right, I'm gonna try to remove the mic when I'm trying to get rid of some of the allergies. That took him down. We'll just go over the statistics. As he was ranked in Ohio State. He was in the Rose Bowl and he did get second in USC face up top ranking Ohio State. 1967, he did 1,543 yards, averaging 5.3. His totals are actually pretty decent. Attendance 665, 3,423, 5.1 average, touchdowns 36, recoveries 36, yardage 320, average 8.9. This is receiving, touchdowns 0. His first team that actually he got onto was the Buffalo Bills after finishing 1-12-1 in 1968. They took Simpsons, but he demanded that he was then the largest contract in professional sports history. 650,000 over 5 years, just to get, because usually they have references of how much it is today. That was, when was that? 1968. Okay, 1968. 1968. 650. Okay, 650. New keyboard. Awesome. About $4,893 of inflation for 5 years. So it wasn't actually paid that much compared to now the professionals nowadays. Well, he probably got paid a lot for being a rookie. They usually don't get paid really good until like a couple of years. This led to a standoff with the Bills owner, Ralph Wilson, as Simpson threatened to become an actor and skip professional football. Eventually, Wilson agreed to pay Simpson. Simpson entered professional football with high expectations, but struggled in the first 3 years, averaging only 622 yards per season. I'm going to get through this. Bills coach, John Roach. Is that Roach? Watch. People, sorry for stopping.
Rauch.
Okay, John Rauch. Not wanting to build an offensive around one running back, signed Simpson to do blocking and receive duties in the expense of running the ball. In 1971, Rauch resigned as head coach, and the Bills brought in Harvey Johnson Johnson's devising a new offense for Simpson. Simpson was still ineffective that year. After the 1971 season, the Bills fired Johnson and brought in Lou Sambo as head coach. Unlike Roch, Sambo made Simpson the centerpiece of the Bills' offensive line. In 1972, Simpson rushed for over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, gaining the league leading total of 1,251 yards. In 1973, Simpson became the first player to break a high coverage of 2,000 yards rushing mark with 203 total yards and 12 touchdowns. Simpson broke the mark during the last game of the season against the New York Jets with the 7 yards rush. That game, sorry, that same game also saw Simpson break Jim Brown's single season running record, 1,863 yards. For his performance, Simpson won the NFL's MVP award and the Burt Bell Award. While other players have broken the 2,000-yard mark since Simpson, his record was established in the time when the NFL had only 14 games per season, as to 16 games per season beginning in 1978. Simpson still holds the rushing records for 14 games. So he still has that record, only because they changed the season up. I mean, now it's, I think, 18 games a season. I mean, I think it's 18 because it's 18 weeks. How many games? The 17 games scheduled from last year. So we had 18 weeks. Okay, this year's schedule is 18 weeks long, continuing to expand 17 game schedules from last year. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger now, and it's a lot easier to get that kind of yardage in the games if you add in a couple of games. So for a 14 game season, yes, he was the best still. He probably would have been getting better. Simpson gained more than 1,000 rushing yards for each of his next 3 seasons. He did not lead the league in rushing in 1974, but did cross the 1,000-yard barrier despite his injured knee. In the game 11 in 1974, he passed Ken Wallard as the rushing leader among active players, a position he maintained until his retirement more than 5 years later. Simpson also made his first and only playoff appearance during the 1974 season. In addition to the division game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Simpson rushed for 49 yards on a 15 attempt and caught a touchdown pass, but the Bills lost the game 32-14. Now, going in his career summary on this, Simpson gained 11,236 rushing yards, placing him second in the NFL all-time rushing list when he retired. He's still now standing in 21st. He was named NFL Player of the Year in 1973. He played 6 Pro Bowls. He was the only player in the NFL history to rush over 2,000 yards in 14-game season. He was the only player to rush for 200 yards in 6 different games in his career from 1972 to 1976. Simpson averaged 1,540 rushing yards per 14-game season, 5.1 yards per carry, and won NFL rushing title 4 times. Since it was included in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1985, his first year was eligibility in 1990. Sorry. In 2019, he was named National Football League 100th anniversary all-time team. Simpson played in only 1 playoff game during his 11 seasons. See, that's the reason why I don't call him the GOAT. He never won a Super Bowl. He was good. He was just not that good. In 1974, he wasn't really around a good team, which could happen. But I still don't see him as being a GOAT. a lot of people at the time frame always loved O.J. Simpson as one of the greatest players, one of the greatest players, and I still don't see it. Simpson was held 49 rushing yards on 15 carries to go with 3 receptions for 37 yards and a touchdown as the Bills lost 32-14. See, that score should never happen if he was that good. Of course, if he didn't have a good defensive team, when he good offensive team when he's rushing, he probably could have made some touchdowns. So could have been the team, it could have been him. I mean, they changed around everything around to make him the best receiver, and it still didn't pan out. So, whatever. Simpson acquired the nickname Juice as he played on OJ and a common version and OJ Juice. Blah blah blah. We got that. Juice is a synonym for electric or electric power, and hence a metaphor for any powerful entity. The Bills' offensive line at Simpson's peak was nicknamed the Electric Company. Oh, that's cute. And we'll go over that. His acting career, he played in Dragnet, Medical Center, Roots, the miniseries, 1977. He's played in The Klansman, which it was a 1974 American drama film based on 1967 book of the same name by William Belford Hugh. It was directed by Transing Young and starred Lee Martin, Richard Burton, O.J. Simpson, Laura Flores, and Lee Evans. The film is in public domain. Oh, okay. Well, anyways, I wonder what it was about. The race war. Well, I'm just going off the poster of this. It was a race war in a small southern town. Okay, that happened all the time. Towering Inferno. The Castrain. What? Oh, people. Words that are messing up on me again. Cassandra Crossing. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't. Capricorn 1. In 1979, he started his own film production company. Othello production dealt mostly with and made for TV fare, such as the family oriented Goldie and the Boxer film with Melissa.
Melissa Michelson.
Melissa Michelson and Cocaine and Blue Eyes. Wow. Okay. The TV movies broadcast on NBC. Yeah, back in the day before streaming, they would pay small amounts of money to make TV movies, which in all reality, that's what we do now, but for streaming, and they actually give a lot of money for the movies that go straight to the streaming timeline, streaming platforms. Oh man, these allergies are killing me. Simpson said he did not seriously consider himself an acting career until seeing Lee Martin and Richard Burton while filming The Klansman in Orville, California, ordering chills from. Hold on, God. Yeah, that's fun. Sorry, allergies. If you heard that, I apologize. Seriously. Sincerely. He played in Hertz commercials, and his most famous is the Naked Gun trilogy that ran from 1988, 1991, and 1994. According to Arnold Schwarzenegger, Simpson was considered by director Ken Cameron to play the anomalous character the Terminator when Schwarzenegger was cast as Kyle Reese, but Cameron only cast Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, while Simpson had no involvement in the film. Besides his acting career, Simpson worked in Monday Night as commentator on Monday Night Football, NFL on NBC, and he also appeared in the audience for Saturday Night Live during his second season. its second season, hosting an episode during its third season. Juice. I'm gonna get back to. He had a lot of endorsement deals. Okay. To the nit and gritty. The murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman murder and the trial. On the night of June 12, 1994, Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman were found stabbed to death outside Nicole's condo in Brentwood, neighborhood of Los Angeles. Simpson, who had been pleaded no contest to the domestic violence charges against Brown in 1989, was an immediate person of interest in the murders. After the police gathered all the evidence, charges were filed and a warrant was signed for Simpson's arrest. Simpson's in the with his arrangement with his attorney was scheduled to turn himself in at approximately 11 a.m. to the Park Center Police Headquarters on the morning of June 17th. Simpson failed to turn himself in, and he later became the suspect of low-speed pursuit, which we all know, with a white 1993 Ford Bronco SUV, which you can now buy Broncos now. I think they stopped selling it only because of fucking OJ. That'd be fucking hilarious. Vehicle owned and being driven by his former teammate and long friend, Al Kroll. According to Kroll, Simpson was armed in the back of the vehicle with a pistol, holding it to his head, threatening to shoot himself if he wasn't taken back to Brentwood Estates. This caused the responding California Highway Patrol officers to pursue with extreme caution. TV stations interrupted coverage in the 1994 NBA Finals to broadcast the incident live with the estimated audience of 95 million people. Jesus. That's the reason why it was so famous, because they interrupted the 1994 NBA Finals. The most famous ride on American shores since Paul Revere. I like that. The event was described as the most famous ride on American shores since Paul Revere. It's not a lie. I mean, yeah, it's not a lie. It's really funny. The pursuit, arrest, and trial of Simpson were among the most widely publicized events in American history since that time frame. O.J. Simpson's interrogated defense counsel included Johnny Cochran, Robert Kardashian. That's the Kardashians nowadays, if you haven't realized. The Kardashians' father, Robert Kardashian, was the lead attorney on this trial. That's what made him famous. And apparently, there's this whole thing. Yeah, I'm gonna jump the rails on this fucking train. There's this theory: if O.J. Simpson never killed anybody, that you would never hear about the Kardashians. It's a whole. I think you can find it on. I'll find it on YouTube, and I'll put it. I'll you know what? I'm gonna bring it up right now because I'll forget. I'll seriously forget, and I'll put it in the uh da, 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 da. No, it's not showing me that freaking thing. But anyways, what this theory is if OJ Simpson, because I can't find the YouTube video. If I ever find it, I will try to put it back on here. And I apologize for not doing it. But what it is basically if OJ didn't kill his wife or was prosecuted for killing his wife, then the Kardashians would never have been in existence and never been famous and they wouldn't be the billionaires that they are today. But that's just a theory. It'd be in a different dimension, if anything. But Robert Kardashian, Robert Shapiro? Huh. I wonder.
Shapiro.
Hold on, everybody. Shapiro. F.E. Bailey and Marika Clark was the lead prosecutors of the state of California. Hold on real quick. I'm curious. Okay. Guys, just same last name. I was wondering if it was Ben Shapiro and Robert Shapiro were related, and they're not related. So that would have been another interesting connection with this. The trial often criticized the trial of the century because of the initial publicity, likely of. Let me get where I was at. Sorry, I had to change some stuff up on this one. Defense counsel. Okay, the trial was often characterized as trial of the century. Likely that the
Sacco and Vanzetti.
Sacco and Spassetti in the Lynchburg kidnappings communicated after 11 months on October 3rd in 1995. When the jury reversed the verdict of not guilty for 2 murders, and an estimated 100 million people worldwide turned in to watch or listen to the verdict announcement following Simpson's acquittal, no additional arrests or convictions related to the murders were made. Immediate reactions to the verdict was known for its divisions along race lines. A poll in Los Angeles County residents showed that most African Americans felt justice had been served, but the not guilty verdict, while the majority of whites and Latinos openly that had not. According to a 2016 poll, 83% white Americans and 57% black Americans believe someone committed the murder. So there's still a lot of people that still believe he did it and he got away with it. Wrongful death civil trial. Now, following Simpson's acquittal of criminal charges, Ron Goldman's family filed a civil lawsuit against Simpson. Daniel Perselli represented the plaintiff, Fred Goldman, Ron Goldman's father, while Robert Baker represented Simpson. The Supreme Court judge. I'm curious what this name is.
Hiroshi Fujisaki.
Hiroshi Fujisaki presided as the judge. He barred television and still cameras, radio equipment, and courtroom sketch artists from the courtroom. On October 23rd, 1996, Odin's statements were made, and on January 16th, 1997, that took about 3 months. Both sides recited their case on February 5th, 1997, a civil jury in Santa Monica, California, unanimously found Simpson liable for wrongful death of and battery against Goldman, the battery against Brown. So, and ordered to pay $33 million, $33.5 million in damages. In February 1999, an auction of Simpson's Heisman Trophy and other belongings netted almost $500,000, which went to the Goldman family. The Goldman family also tried to collect Simpson's NFL 28,000 monthly pension, but failed to collect any money. In 1997, Simpson defaulted on his mortgage at the home in which he lived at for 20 years at 360 North Ridgeman Avenue, and the lender foreclosed on the property. In July 1998, the house was demolished by its next owner, Kenneth Abdullah.
Kenneth Abdallah.
An advancement banker and president of the Jerry's Famous Deli chain. I'm kind of curious. What kind of... Anyways, on September 5th, 2006, Goldman's father took Simpson back to court to take control over Simpson's right to publicity. For purposes of satisfying the judge in a civil court case on January 4th, 2007, the federal judge issued a restraining order preventing Simpson from spending any advances he had received on a canceled book deal and a TV interview about 1994 murders. The matter was dismissed before the lack of jurisdiction. On January 19, 2007, California's state judge issued an additional restraining order ordering Simpson to restrict his spending to ordinary and necessary living expenses. Wow. On March 13, 2007, a judge prevented Simpson from receiving any further compensation from a defuncty book deal and TV interview, and the judge ordered a bundle book rights to be auctioned. In August 2007, a Florida bankruptcy court awarded the rights to the book to Goldman's family to partly satisfy the unpaid civil judgment. Originally titled If I Did It, the book that renamed If I Did It, Confessions of a Killer, with the words if, reduced in size in such an extent that it appeared to be within a large red eye and its title. Interesting. I just find that interesting how they did that. It's emphasized that I did it, where if they were able to change that, they were able to do it to where it actually kind of reads, I did it in first glance, and you pick it up like, oh, it's a advertisement type deal to where you'd want to read the book a little bit better. Making the titles read I Did It, Confessions of a Killer. Additional material was added by members of the Goldman family, and investigative journalist Dominique Don and author Pablo they reread that fucking thing. In June 2022, Goldman's father, Fred, alleged in court papers intended to keep the wrongful death of and a battery burn that Simpson owed $96 million due to sufficient interest gained in the initial order of the payment damages. Other legal troubles during that time frame. In 2007, the state of California claimed that Simpson owed $1.44 million in back taxes. A tax lien was filed on his case on September 1st, 1999. In the late 1990s, Simpson attempted to register O.J. Simpson, O.J. and the Jews as trademark for the broad range of goods, including figurines, trading cards, sportswear, medallions, coins, which technically you could have gotten. A concerned citizen, William B. Ritchie, sued to oppose the granted of federal regulations on the grounds that doing so would be immoral and scandalous. Simpson gave up the efforts in 2000 and left California that year for Florida, settling in Miami, which they're I'll get into that later. Florida is one of the few states where petitions and or residents cannot generate generally be seized to collect debts. Wait a minute. Florida is one of the states where pensions and or residents cannot generally be okay, his debt couldn't be seized in Florida. Okay. In February 2001, Simpson was arrested in Miami-Dade County, Florida, for simple battery and burglary of a occupied convenient. I'm messing up words again. I took everything I possibly could just to get through this. I had that alpha brain stuff. I have a bunch of other
Conveyance.
occupied conveyance for yanking the glasses off another motorist during a traffic dispute 3 months earlier. If convicted, Simpson could have faced up to 16 years in prison, but he was tried quickly and acquitted for both charges in October 2001. Man, allergies are getting really bad now. On December 4, 2001, Simpson's Miami home was searched by the FBI on suspicion of ecstasy possessions and money laundering. The FBI had received a tip that Simpson was involved in a major drug trafficking ring after 4 other suspects were arrested in the case. Simpson's home was thoroughly searched for 2 hours, but no illegal drugs were discovered, and no arrest or formal charges were filed following the search. However, investigators uncovered equipment capable of stealing satellite television program. God, what a loser. God, that is a fucking loser. He stole satellite television programming, which eventually led Simpson being sued in federal court. Goddamn fucking loser. On July 4, 2002, Simpson was arrested again in Miami-Dade County, Florida, for water speeding through the Manatee Protection Zone and failing to complete with property boating regulations. The misdemeanor boating regulation charges were dropped, and Simpson was fined for speeding infraction. In March 2004, satellite television network Dis TV Incorporated accused Simpson in Miami federal court using illegal electronic devices to pirate its broadcasting system. The company later won a $25,000 judgment, and Simpson was ordered to pay, holy crap, pay an additional $33,678 in attorney fees and costs. Okay, I thought it was actually the actual cable bill they came back up with. It's like, oh, this is how much you owe. It's like, free fucking God. But don't steal cable; they'll come after you. Oh God, this is actually the time frame where he got arrested and he actually went to jail. On the night of September 13th, 2007, a group of men led by Simpson entered a room in Palace Station Hotel Casino and took sportsman Miller at gunpoint, which resulted in Simpson being questioned by police. Simpson attempted to take the items which he had said had been stolen from him, but detained breaking into the hotel room. He also denied that he or anyone else carried a gun. He was released after questioning. 2 days later, Simpson was arrested and initially held without bail, along with 3 other men. Simpson was charged with multiple felony counts, including criminal conspiracy, kidnapping, assault, robbery, and using a deadly weapon. Bail was set at $125,000, which is kind of awkward. especially with that kind of case. With stipulations with Simpson having no contact with the co-defendants and that he surrendered his passport. Simpson did not enter a plea deal. By the end of October 7th, all three of Simpson's co-defendants had plea bargain with the prosecution of Clark County, Nevada court case. Walter Alexander and Charles H. Cashmore accepted a plea deal in exchange for reduced charges and their testimony against Simpson and three other defendants, including the testimony with that guns were used in the robbery. The co-defendants, Michael McLean, told the Las Vegas judge that he too would plea deal to reduce the charges and testify against Simpson that guns were used in the robbery. After the hearing, the judge ordered Simpson to be trialed for robbery. On November 8th, 2007, Simpson was primarily hearing to decide whether he would be tried for the charges. He was held over for the trial on all 12 counts. Simpson pleaded not guilty on November 29th. With the initial settings of the trial on October 7th, 2008, although it was soon set for September 8th to give the defendants more time in their case. So they took an extra time frame. In January 2008, Simpson was taken into custody in Florida and was extradited to Las Vegas, where he was incarcerated at Clark County Jail for violating the terms of his bail by attempting to contact Clarence C.J. Stewart, a co-defendant in the trial. District Attorney David Rogers of Clark County provided District Court Judge Jackie Glass with evidence that Simpson would violate all his bail terms. Yeah, you're not supposed to contact anybody that's connected to the case, especially if you're the person that's getting prosecuted. And that's to basically it's to stop with God, I had the words in my head as witnesses, tampering, stuff like that. It's common in all court cases, especially if there's witnesses and everything. You're not supposed to contact the witnesses and say, "Oh, you know, bully them and threaten them and everything like that." Now, a hearing took place in January 16th, 2008. Glass raised Simpson's bail to $250,000 and ordered him to remain in the county jail until 15% of the paid in cash. Simpson posted the bond with that evening and returned to Miami the next day. Simpson and his co-defendants were found guilty of all charges in October 3rd, 2008. On October 10th, 2008, Simpson's counsel moved for a new trial divino, which we talked about this earlier in a couple of it's basically a new trial and is usually ordered by appeals court when the original trial failed to make a determination in the manner directed by law. On the grounds of judicial errors and inefficient evidence, Simpson's attorney announced he would appeal to the Nevada Supreme Court, so the Judge Glass denied this motion. The attorney for Simpson's co-defendant, C.J. Stewart, petitioned for a new trial, alleging Stewart should have been trialed separately and cited possible misconducts by the jury foreman. Simpson faced the possibility of life with parole on a kidnapping charge and mandatory prison time for armed robbery. On December 5th, 2008, Simpson was sentenced with a total of 33 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 9 years. In 2017, on which he got out. Spoiler alert. On September 4, 2009, the Nevada Supreme Court denied a request for bail during Simpson's appeal. In October 2010, the Nevada Supreme Court affirmed his conviction. He served his sentence in Lovelock Correctional Center, where His inmate number was 102782-0, which, hate to tell you, your inmate number is posted everywhere, so it's subject to public knowledge. A Nevada judge agreed on October 19, 2012, to reopen the armed robbery and kidnapping case against O.J. Simpson, determine if the former football star was so badly represented by his lawyers that she should be freed from prison, getting out of jail. A hearing was held beginning in May 13th, 2013, to determine if Simpson was entitled to the new trial. On November 27th, 2013, Judge Lita Bell denied Simpson's bid for a new trial on the robbery conviction. In her ruling, Bell wrote that all Simpson's convictions lacked merit. Now, his release. Wait a minute, what? Okay. On July 31st, 2013, the Nevada parole board against O.J. Simpson granted parole on some convictions, but his imprisonment continued based on the weapons and assault convictions. So he still had to stay in there. The board considered Simpson's prior record of criminal convictions and good behavior in prison and coming to the decision. At his parole hearing, so he was paroled off of the on some of his convictions, but not all of them. See, they can keep you in jail if you still have other sentences from other things. It's how they keep a lot of people in jail. That's the reason why they stack a lot of criminal activities on one person. They'll get like 2 years for driving dangerously. We'll just use that with exception, that example. They'll do that, and then they'll go with the murder charges and everything like that. So you'll get 2 years. Okay, I'm out for the 2 years. Oh, but you're not out for the murder charges. And that's how they actually do that type of stuff. That's the reason why they compact a lot of charges when they put people in through these court cases and everything. They want to if one of them doesn't stick because of lack of evidence, the other ones are going to fit. And that's the reason why in a RICO case is really strange. And I'll go into RICO cases in one of these days. Because I find those interesting because they were formed because of mafia. Basically, if one of the people are convicted of the RICO case and all of them are a part of that case, if I'm gauging this right, then they all go to jail for the time. That's what a RICO case was actually formed. Let's get back to this. On July 31st, 2013, sorry, I reread that. I didn't put a marker. At his parole hearing on July 20th, 2017, the board decided to grant Simpson parole with certain parole conditions, such as travel restrictions, no contact with co-defendants from the robbery, and not drinking excessively. Not drinking excessively, but he can't drink. He was released on October 1st, 2017, having served almost 9 years. On December 14th, 2021, Simpson was released from parole early for good behavior, releasing him from his previous conditions of his release, effectively making him completely a free man. Now, there's if you want to look at a lot of this stuff that's been, I mean, this case itself, I'll read you all the stuff that went with this case. I mean, I don't know who got all the money from this this stuff, if it's him or if it's Nicole Brown's family. But there's been a lot. Fox Network TV movie, The O.J. Simpson Story in 1995. As an adult by Bobby Honsay, plus trained by you, Terrence Howard. The documentary O.J. Simpson: The Untold Story. Investigation O.J. Trial of the Century in 2014. O.J. Simpson Trial: The Real Story. I mean, there's a laundry list of them. But it's one of those cases that even to date, until he comes out and says it that he did it, there's a lot of people that are going to believe that he actually did do it. So that it's one of the reasons why I really didn't want to. I like the case, but I feel it's been over mediacized, even though it was really small. It's a really small case, and yes, 2 people did die from this, and if supposedly the killer's still out there, which technically he is, and he was never convicted. Because I wholeheartedly looking at the evidence and everything through the trial, publicized all the stuff that was actually publicized. That motherfucker did it. I can't help that. He got away with it. He's one of the few people that's actually gotten away with murder on national TV. So, but anyways, guys, next episode should be the Iceman. Let me pull up his full name. The Iceman. This was one that Chris wanted me to do. Richard Kozinski. Oh, this is gonna be a horrible one for me for my language stuff. We all know by now that I'm an idiot. I don't know how I got to doing this, but I get to doing this. Let me see here. Let me make sure.
Koklinski.
Koklinski. There's dozens of stuff on this guy too. He was named the Iceman. He was a Italian mob hitman, and he had no remorse. I looked at a couple of stuff beforehand because I was going to do that with Chris, but I'm going to wait until next week. Hopefully, me and him can do it together. But anyways, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Goodbye. Love you guys.